guys! Today I'm going to review my favourite Doctor Who story. It's Genesis of the Daleks.
Exterminate. The weaponry is perfect.
Genesis of the Daleks was broadcast on the 8th of March to the 12th of April 1975 and is a six-parter. It's from Tom Baker's first season, season 12, and is story 4. It features the first appearance of Davros, played by Michael Wisher. It was directed by David Maloney, written by Terry Nation. Music was by Dudley Simpson. It was originally going to be called Daleks, Genesis of Terror. A novelisation came out in 1976, written by Terence Dix, and it had the largest print run of any of the original series, selling over 100,000 copies. Mary Whitehouse complained about the story. Tea time brutality for tots. She objected to the scenes of war and Nyder hitting the Doctor. However, it's regarded by fans as one of the best in the series. Genesis of the Daleks stars Tom Baker as the 4th Doctor, Elisabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith, Ian Marter as Harry Sullivan, Michael Wisher as Davros, and Peter Miles as Nyder. So this is all about the origin of the Daleks. So the Doctor's trying to prevent them from being created. And I thought I'd review this one because Tom Baker's just had his 91st birthday this week. So congratulations to Tom. And Philip Hinchcliffe's the producer. He did the best 3 years of Doctor Who ever. The first 3 years of Tom Baker's era. And this is a perfect example of how brilliant the show used to be. So it features the 4th Doctor, Sarah and Harry. Brilliant team. So Sarah Jane Smith and Harry Sullivan, they work really well together. It's a brilliant TARDIS team. So Tom Baker really comes into his own in this story. He really gets a grip of the Doctor. And there was hints of it earlier in the story, The Ark in Space, how good he actually was. But it's this story where he really comes into his own. He's excellent in it. Some brilliant scenes. The famous scene where he has the two wires together and he could destroy the Daleks by just putting them next to each other. And he uses the famous line, "Do I have the right?" It's a brilliant scene. He plays it excellently.
These two strands together and the Daleks are finished. Have I that right?
To destroy the Daleks, you can't doubt it.
But I do.
However, the main thing about this story is the character of Davros. He's brilliantly played. This is his first appearance and his best. Easily the best appearance. Played by Michael Wisher. And these lines between him and the Doctor, classic stuff.
You will tell me the reason for every Dalek defeat. With that knowledge, I will program them. With that knowledge, they will know their errors and how to avoid them. With that knowledge, there will be no defeats. We will begin.
Davros, if I tell you what you want to know, I betray millions of people in the future. I can't do that.
But you can. You will tell me.
So it's a great performance by him, especially with him wearing like a mask and makeup. It's amazing he manages to get so much character into his performance. And all his other appearances played by other actors, they're not a patch off his first appearance. So it's a well-written character as well. He's intelligent, he shows his intelligence, and he's cunning, sly, and he even creates like a war between both races for his own means. It's all planned in advance. He wants them to wipe each other out, because all he's bothered about is the creation of his Daleks. One of the best scenes of the story is his dialogue between Tom Baker, especially the scene where he's going on about this virus. A hypothetical question, would he release a virus if he knew it would destroy everything in the universe? And he just proves how unhinged the character is.
Davros, if you had created a virus in your laboratory, something contagious and infectious that killed on contact, a virus that would destroy all other forms of life, would you allow its use?
Enough to break the glass would end everything. Yes. I would do it.
Oh, bloody hell, not another bloody virus. I'm sick of hearing about them buggers. His henchman, Nyder, played by Peter Miles. He's brilliant as well. He's sort of like your stereotypical Nazi. He's always on the lookout for traitors. He's listening and looking around. And there's the same way it looks like he's lip reading, that he can manage to find out what people are saying just by looking at the lips. Very sinister character, and he works so well with Davros. That brilliant scene where he tricks people into naming who's in the resistance. And then he says, "Thank you, that's what I needed to know." Really sinister guy.
Right, I'll try and get some of the military elite on our side. Who can you count on?
Kavell, Frenton, Pardon. But there'll be more soon, I'm sure of it.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
So, lots been said about the symbolism in this story, this and World War II. And you have to take into account that this came out in 1975. So it was like the 30th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. So that probably had a lot to do with it. The script was handed to Philip Hinchcliffe and script editor Robert Holmes, who made changes to the original script to give it a darker tone. Terry Nation, having intentionally modelled the Daleks on the Nazis, further explored the theme in Genesis, and it addresses moral issues about time travel and genocide. Terry Nation, who grew up in World War II, intentionally based the Daleks on the Nazis, and this episode contains deliberate parallels. The Kaleds dress in uniforms reminiscent to the Nazis and display fascist salutes, and want to keep their race pure by banishing the Thals and the Mutos. The cast and crew described the story as a warning to the world and about the danger of allowing authoritarianism to take over. Davros was likened to Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler several times, while physical comparisons were also drawn between the appearance of Nyder and SS chief Heinrich Himmler, aside from the resemblance of both wearing similar uniforms and spectacles. As the production of the third episode began, the producers decided to play down some of the Nazi symbolism and took away Nyder's Iron Cross. However, it briefly reappears in a later scene that was filmed. So the famous scene where the Doctor says, "Do I have the right to destroy the Daleks?" It's sort of like that hypothetical question where people get asked, would they kill Hitler as a child if they knew he was going to be a dictator and cause all these deaths? So it's similar to that question. Elisabeth Sladen recalls that Tom Baker took the scene very seriously, almost agonising over the dialogue.
Listen, if someone who knew the future pointed out a child to you and told you that that child would grow up totally evil, to be a ruthless dictator who would destroy millions of lives, could you then kill that child?
The set design's good as well. It's simple, but it's brilliant. You get the impression that you are in a bunker. And the music by Dudley Simpson, that's very effective as well. It's not obtrusive music, where some composers, they get a little bit carried away and make the music a bit over the top. But with his music, you hear it, but it's not distracting, but it influences reactions from the audience. And of course the Daleks themselves. I think the design of these Daleks is my favourite actually. The look's a very dark grey look. At times it's almost black. And I think this is my favourite design. This and the ones that were in the 60s. But I do prefer this design best. I think they look more menacing. I love the scene where you see the very first extermination. A Dalek gets its gun fixed to him. And there's an extermination scene. And it's actually probably my favourite extermination scene. You actually see the pain of people getting killed.
Davros!
Exterminate! Exterminate!
No!
Exterminate!
No!
So throughout the story, it's more brutal than normal. where people are screaming their head off when they're dying. And of course the final episode where the Daleks confront Davros and turn on him. That's amazing. It's because Davros is the creator. It's almost like a version of Frankenstein, actually. The monster turning on the creator. And it gives you the impression that the Daleks are more evil than Davros. Because he's asking for pity, and the Daleks don't have it. It's a brilliant way to end the story.
Let them live! Have pity! Pity! I have no understanding of the word. Exterminate!
Then you get the final shot of a Dalek face in the camera, and it's talking to the audience.
This is only the beginning!
So this must have been a hell of a shock for the audience at the time, where they used to sort of like a childish type of sci-fi show, whereas this is very dark and it's almost adult in a way. A massive difference from earlier stuff. Even though I love the Pertwee era, it's still sort of childish sci-fi in a way, but this is a big step towards a more adult show. And of course Mary Whitehouse complained, as usual. Hey, that bloody Mary Whitehouse. What a silly old cow she was. Hey, I bet when she watched this bloody story, I bet she bloody shit herself. Russell T Davies, he did a story of, Destination Scarrow. And he gave a talk in an interview about he wanted Davros to now walk because he thought he'd give people in wheelchairs a bad look. He didn't want people in wheelchairs to look like the villains. Ridiculous. That bloody Russell T Davies must be bloody crackers. Davros isn't in a bloody wheelchair. It's a life support system. Stupid get. Having Davros walk and it totally spoilt it. So Russell T Davies, he's so full of himself. Anyway, that bloody Donald Trump will sort out all this bloody walking nonsense. Yeah! And he destroyed the character of Sutek as well. That brilliant character in Pyramids of Mars. Having him look like a bloody dog. Another interesting thing about this story is it starts off well, and then parts 2 and 3, they're good, but they're not as good as the last 3 parts. So the second half of the story is much better than the first half of the story. So it's like a car getting in higher gear. It gets better as it goes on. So I like the structure of that. It keeps its cards till later. It doesn't show you everything straight away. So it's a well-paced 6-parter. Some fans have criticism about the story, saying it's all about getting captured and then escaping and then recaptured and then escaping. But that happens a lot in these type of stories. And I don't have a problem with major characters getting captured. For instance, a film like Goldfinger, one of the very best Bond films. The character of Bond's captured by Goldfinger, the majority of that film. However, it's a masterpiece. So overall, I thought this story was fantastic, a proper masterpiece. I thought the character of Davros was brilliant. The first and the best. It's almost a pity that he didn't get properly killed off in this story, because other actors that have played the character haven't been as good. The Daleks look at the best. You get Tom Baker, Sarah Jane Smith and Harry Sullivan, all brilliant. And of course the character of Nyder, he's brilliant as well. So all these characters are so good. It's such a brilliant story. So it never fails to impress me when I watch this story. So out of 10, I'm going to give it 10, 11. 11 out of 10. So what did you think, Holmes? Did you enjoy it? I thought it was bloody excellent, Phil. Top marks. Better than that bloody new bugger we have now. What the hell do you call them? Shitty Gatway. Okay, everybody, bye. Like, subscribe and share. Bye. Bye. Oh, and happy birthday, Tom Baker. Bye.